So for me, it's been a continuously putting things back to perspective. I'll make a video about the coincidence of things. Now you see this image. This is one of the perp that's where I used to work. Reason why I'm in this program later on came in, and that's when I knew things were going on because he would make things very very obvious, right? But he came later on when I was about to quit where I was going to work where I was working, and this guy, let's just say his life was just far from in order. He was kind of interesting looking person and had an interesting life. And I think at the time when he was working, he at that point had to blow on the breathalyzer to start the car, right? And so, I mean, I'm not somebody to judge people, but I'm just want to say that this is not a person that, let's just say that you think that is the cleanest person. And his life has been interesting. But he's an older gentleman. He's 60-year-old, so maybe at that point had grandkids and whatnot. And when he started working, obviously he started participating in this program. Now, in my current employers, I'm hearing this bottom feeders. I hate when they try to play this psyop. There's this person that works, and I'll show a picture of her. She's definitely not the healthiest person. She's younger than me, but she looks like she's aging faster than me, and I'm being radiated and tortured. And she's just, you can see the instableness of her because she's trying to push this psyop of a fraudulency when in reality I know what these people do. And she likes to call it, oh, we are at war. They're not at war. It's because they want to take advantage of the opportunity they have. With me, it's just been a constant reminding them that the reality is that you guys are trash. I work for this for this employer, and there is a pedophile, right? That they can't say his name. Let me just give you a sample. This is somebody they can't say his name, right? Listen.
It wasn't just the mall, folks. One Alabama journalist claims that Moore was also banned from the YMCA for his inappropriate behavior of soliciting sex from young girls. And don't forget, he did that while he was assistant DA. The assistant DA.
This is somebody they can't say his name, and everybody make fun of how he was doing all these horrible things and talking to like kids, going to the YMCA and doing these things, right? When he was an assistant DA, and a lot of now women came out saying, when I was like a 14-year-old, he was like, taking me out of my classes, and he was the assistant DA, and terrible stories that you hear some like, like at that point attorneys, assistant attorney, assistant DA, matter of fact, was using his power to target children. That's the reality. Now this person that I'm talking to, she can't even say his name. She say, oh, you're our judge. Like, it's so sad, they can't even say his name. And for me, they're talking about how they're gonna frame me. There's some child around here who's gonna say something, and they are setting up things. I don't know. But the reality is that, and these people here, my employer at the time was putting me in this program, right? And it was race-based. I don't understand. But this guy came in later on. I was already at that point a target individual. He came in, he just joined in, participated. Maybe it was maybe a year before I left. So, I was there for about 4 or 5 years. So at that time, I was like, okay, he's, like he just joined in, but things were already been done, right? But he was making things even more obvious. Like, he would look at me and just like shoot gun, pa, 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 like pointing and like, what's going on? And then he said something. He came and he went and talked to somebody who was participant, but he went and he was loud about what he said, and he caught my ear. And he said something, and he's like, hey, I can do all that, but I don't know about this pedophilia things. I don't know what he was talking about. I don't know if they were like saying that, I can do everything, but I don't know about doing the pedophilia torture. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they were talking about. But either way, I understand that these people were prepping for me to just, they put me in this program, but then they put me in this, in the program where they knew they're going to do the pedophilia type of torture. So even if he was trying to say, oh man, he's a pedophile, or oh man, I don't want to do the pedophilia type of torment, I don't care. Either way, I know that they're going to put me in this program where they do the pedophilia type of torture, and they're going to slander me. Because in this program, you're going to hear the first steps is the slanders. They're going to slander. They're going to try to come up with false narrative about people. calling somebody a pedophile is one of the main things they do. So these people who put me in this program made sure that this was going to happen. And so now they try to make me think, no, what he was doing, he was investigating. This company I was working for did something in the industrial world. So like they sold industrial supplies, right? I'm not going to say specifically what, but let's just say it's not the type that kind of investigate people or like go through people's, like that's not what they do. We sell at the time industrial supplies, and purely a corporation that did that. They were not trained to be investigators or things like that. There was none of that. But my company that I was working for, very, very connected with intelligence community and other entities. So they put me in that program where they knew what's going to happen to me. Slander, manipulations, and torment till suicide. And ended up, this same company ended up paying and helping this man for his campaign. So now they try to make me think, this guy, first of all, his life could be just like, it was just weird, okay? He's a creepy man, I gotta say that. And now they try to make me, they make me have these false memories. And like, I remember he was sitting next to me, he had like pictures of his granddaughters, his kids. I was like, oh, nice kids, whatever. Now, the way they make me experience that memory is with the simulations, the falsification. That's how they do. Now they just go through memories and repaint reality the way they want. These people are not people who are investigating me. They were people who put me in a program where they're going to manipulate me and torment me and use the pedophilia type of torture. And they knew that. This is enough people. I was putting this program based on race. While this trash ended up paying and donating money to a alleged pedophile that was picking up people at the YMCA. And now this person can't even say his name. They're like, oh, the judge, because now he's a judge. The reality is this. They've been humiliated. And this guy, this is a great picture of him. If you saw him in person, I will swear, you won't even want to have your child around him. Creepiness beyond nth. But they try to be like, no, they knew. Yeah, these people who put me in this program where they're going to do a pedophilia type of torture knew that this was going to apply. The slander was going to put in my brain. And now they try to bring a moment. It's like, remember when the kids, they saw that in your brain. It's like, they were so trash. All along, they were just creating a false reality. Falsifying reality. Well, they knew who I was really. They were trying to change me into something else, or probably creating a false reality. But guess what? Finding out, the one things they do is a slander. They slander people. They say that somebody is a pedophile, somebody is doing this and that. They do that around the community. And I started hearing that later on. I could hear somebody downstairs. It's like, oh, I don't want a pedophile around. I was like, what? And they say things out loud in order for you to hear. But this is part of the slanderous part, the thing. And they ended up spending money, this company, on a pedophile. And they were bragging about how they knew CIA. She was telling me, I know the CIA. Well, guess what? They found out the CIA. A bunch of pedophiles live there. Sorry, a bunch of pedophiles work there. For me, I understand these people at that company, who's the reason why they can't say Roy Moore, is the reason why I'm here, and that's why I'm going to be tortured. The current employer is just a facade. It was just they were just like hiring me to break me down and then fire me. I made a video about it immediately. And this trash wanted to present themselves as this progressive group of femme fatale and whatever. It's like, do you think these people called, let me call these women who are protecting children around the world, and then call this program that does this horrible thing to men, women, and children and do the pedophilia type of torture? Reality, I'm never going to let them escape. They were trash and they were actually racist. Now, this program has nothing to do with racist. They need people of all race, gender, and ages. It doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you are. These perps around me have nothing. If they're racist, it doesn't even matter. It most likely they're not. Then you will see a whole black person. Like, it doesn't do anything here. But reality is not something I'm going to let them escape. If I see them in person, I will just bring that up. One thing is for sure, they really try to make you stupid and to retard you in ways that you don't understand. My point is to continuously show the reality of things. While they create this false reality, which they call it their reality. Their reality is like the femme fatale. They are matching. They're manipulating. All along in the first place, what they were doing is that they're stressing me out at work. They're continuously making me feel uncomfortable, stressed out to the point I quit. And the reason why they were doing that is because they were trying to get like this. They were mapping my brain. So the day comes, they start manipulating me, and on August 19, 2019, boom, all of that happened. Manipulations. I've never been myself since that day. Now I look at kids change into some nasty stimulation. My memories disappear, go into something else. And they do the peripheral type of torture, and I found out that's all along what they were doing. They were stressing me out. They were messing with me. They were, breaking me down so they can map me and just start manipulating me. And they're frauds, and now they try to create this psyop of like, oh, now we're femme fatale feminists. Like, listen, these people are the most conservative individual you can ever imagine. I mean, some of the reason why you can't even have abortions in this country is because they helped that. They donated enough to help this. And it's funny, one purple was trying to be like, they only gave like $4 million. Oh, so low. I was like, what? You think $4 million is nothing for, like these people are living a delusional reality. And they can't speak about a pedophile's name, and now they are here trying to make me subscribe. I remember going to a plane, and there was this creepy guy. Oh my gosh. That's when I knew something was off about these people. And now looking back, I don't know if it was a CIA agent or some kind of like intelligence community guy, but he was extremely creepy. He stood next to me, and I was talking to him. It was like, he sounded first like a friendly, like older man, right? I like to have conversation. I talked to this person. I was like, yeah, I went to school that when I was in middle school. I went to this place, and I went to this Catholic school. And he was like, oh. And then he looked at me, he stopped, and he said this thing. Were you a good Catholic boy? I was like, what? And he stopped and said that like that. And I'm like, what creepiness is this? And he just like, were you a good Christian boy? And I was like, what a creepy life. What is wrong with this guy? And now they're like, no, he was talking about what you did as a kid in middle school. I was like, you see, they mapped it, they saw this. I was like, what? Do you see how creepy that man sounded? Talking about me as a kid? And at that point, I'm a grown man. I can't remember the stupid thing I did and the impulsive thing I did as a child. It's like, we mapped it there. We made you like a kid again. What? Stupidity. And then they go into my memories and manipulate me to experience the things that make me experience today. Into my memories. And say, no, that's that. We mapped it. No, you just manipulate my memories. What they saw, whatever, is not that. They were seeing a lot of other things that were far from that. Like I said, I'm not perfect. They saw a lot of imperfections, but there's none of that had to do with children. It had to do with a lot of with women. And I gotta be honest. I have to be honest, because reality is, I have my imperfections. Unfortunately for them, it has nothing to do with children. But now it's being changed in other ways, and they even try to manipulate. Oh, but you followed this person in 2014. It's like, oh Jesus, so sad, so pathetic. And even that wasn't even. It's just looking for things to try to counter reality and create a new version of who I am. But I know my imperfection. I will never deny my own imperfection. But as they try to create me as this new reconstructed individual, I can never subscribe to that. I know these people do the peripheral type of torture, and I'd rather die slow, be burned and cut up in pieces, but then be working in a program that does these horrible things to women and children. And these frauds here try to create this psyop. Nasty lowlifes. And the people who put me in this program, oh my gosh, look at who they're investing their money on. Trash ass bottom feeders, trash. To all my target individual, do not subscribe to this.